What's up guys, welcome to the final video of the Modok tutorial series. Shoutouts to you if you've watched all these videos, be it to learn something new about Modok, to play him, or to play against him, or if you're just watching this for entertainment, huge shoutouts to you. Thank you. So Modok in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 has a lot of mystique, but I think we're at a time where the unfamiliarity is sort of a detriment to the game. So I think it's time the information is out there so anybody can learn and put to use. I believe there are some things that Modok players should keep hush for a clutch scenario, but I do believe even if everything was common knowledge, Modok would still be in the upper tiers. Right now, he's high, midish, A tier. For the video, the format of talking about character design, normals, etc. will be different because I'd like to talk less about the tools and more about the strategies and gameplay. I'll follow the previous format though. There are some niche things I'd like to show that I think is good to note and maybe take inspiration from to start creating your own play in tech. Let's talk about character design. I think I did a pretty good job of explaining how, given its tools, one should approach playing the game with Modok, but I also want to touch on how different people have used those tools. And if you missed that, again, Modok can have control of a good portion of the screen, about 1 to 1.5 character lengths away. He's got a bubble he wants the opponent to be in. Something I want to touch on is what you shouldn't do with Modok. So from ranges where it's impossible to have any effect on the opponent's play, if he's full screen for example, if he's full screen away, you shouldn't do a move that covers one character length away unless the opponent can traverse the screen ultra quickly. Like if he's playing Virgil, who can rapid slash, or Wesker, who can teleport in, or even say maybe Wolverine. But yeah, definitely play with the intention of doing things that will have some effect on the game, especially within the neutral. Something else I'd like to mention and just appreciate is character expression. Different Brodoks all play differently. For example, I play missiles and I don't like to keep away or play the full screen game for too long. We've seen with the first Modok to make top 8 at Evo, Fruitsy, his style in his first Evo was very much trying to outpatient the opponent and take advantage of the fact that if he starved the opponent of interaction, they could slip up and go in and get hit by a falling normal. Punisher plays on hitbox and can do confirms and move in a very distinct way that other players might not be able to. Everyone plays their own way, and I really like that about this game, so I think it's important to find your own groove with him, which may be affected by things like assist or maybe even personality. Alright, so for normals, I think since we've covered quite a bit about Modok so far, I'll only go into the niche and useful scenarios. So I just want to talk about how crouching L can trade with Superman Punch. It can trade and it can also just beat it straight up. 5M can nullify projectiles like Zero's Hadangeki as well as Morgan's Soul Fists. For 5H, the best use is probably just on paper because I've never done it in a real match. It's versus Firebrand's Kidnap and covering that 45-degree angle. Just a quick little note, guys, I've said 90-degree angles previously when I've meant the 45-degree angle. I don't know geometry too well, unfortunately. That didn't really stick. So for 6H, this move can be used to hit Novas hiding behind their gravimetric pulse. If you know they're going to throw a javelin, you can dash up and use that move. And if it's level 1 pulse, which means they haven't used red health yet, the pulse will disappear and you can go for full combo. With the right assist, you can also combo on other levels of pulse. Don't ask me why I've labbed this matchup so much. My team loses bad to Nova. At least in my mind. Alright, so 3H, this is one of my favorite normals. This move hits Virgil and Strider out of their teleports if you have the read. So hyped to hit that. The room used to explode when I'd hit that back in the day, but moving on. Okay, so with Barrier, I would just want to put a spotlight on how perfectly his normals can be used to counter hit anyone that swings on Barrier. Standing M, Goop, Crouching H, all have like the perfect spacing and are easy to confirm into full combo. This I guess should have been part of character design, but I just like to point out how nice that is as a Modok player. That's really good character design. Some disadvantages that you should know if you're looking to pick up Modok is that the barrier isn't completely perfect at protecting him. And there are two things I know that you should keep in mind when playing inside barrier. Number one is it soaks up hit spheres, yes. But if the hit sphere is just out of range of the barrier, but within range of Modok's hit spheres, Modok will get hit. It makes sense. How would the barrier protect Modok if it's not in the range to do so? Number 2 is that when there are a lot of active hit spheres going on at the same time, the barrier will not protect Modok of everything. I don't know if it's because the barrier can't block two things on the same frame, or if one of the moves just isn't within range of the barrier, but I have noticed that sometimes Modok will get clipped and then the barrier eats the rest of the hits. It's important to remember these things and be ready if you get clipped and react to the scenario. So I showed you how you can combo breaker with Analyze Cube, and I think it's important to cover that Modok can have many different uses for these cubes. Versus Dormammu, you can hit Dorm after he's cast Stalking Flare with the right spacing. You can also use L Analyze Cube after normals generally versus grounded characters in hopes to hinder their advances. So in the past videos, I said that it was really good for Modok that Sonic Blaster had high knockback, and all I want to say is the reason why that is. It's because the opponent who potentially was close or about to get the hit or even half a screen away has to get in again, which you can make it really difficult and potentially get the hit while he's trying to do that. I once heard F-Champ say, and this is when he was playing Dormammu, that if someone is trying to close the gap, you want the opponent to pay for every pixel of the screen they cover. As a fellow Dawson player, I feel this, and it's a good Nindo to keep in mind. In application with Modok and Sonic Blaster, if you land this, that's a lot of space they have to pay for again. Also defensively, let's say you're pressed up against the corner and you land a Sonic Blaster, you have all that space to play with. So that's why I think Sonic Blaster's knockback is pretty great. And it also just feels good to hit people with it. You should try it. I've kind of touched on why Balloon Bomb is good. It's like insurance for Modok. If you get hit, the bomb will break the combo, especially with the H1 since it tracks. Also, small thing, body attack sometimes ends in the air. I'm not sure why, but sometimes you can sneak a one baby leg kick, and sometimes you can't. Like that. I don't know why that is, but definitely use that to your advantage. If someone is blocking missiles and they get hit by that, it'll definitely open them up. I didn't get it there, but yeah, not sure why. Again, barrier isn't a special. I just think about it as if it is one because of how broken it is. Like take for example the fact that big barrier can protect you from missiles if it's called full screen away. You can also, in theory, counter Morgan Astral if you set it up and step forward. I don't have it down to a science, but it eats the Soul Fist coming from behind you, so that's pretty big. Okay, so you know that Jamming Bomb is broken, but I just wanted to talk about why most will snap a character out when they go for their Jamming Bomb combos. It's more of a play if you snap the anchor character, because if you jam and snap and kill the anchor, the next character is the last character they have if they block the incoming setup to play before having to play with a character that is jammed. It also has to do with the mental stack. If Modok jams, that character gets snapped out and now the team is displaced, and they will have to keep in mind that their point character is now jammed, and remember that, or the last character just gets hit on incoming and the game's over. It's so grim for a jam character that if you snap, the general consensus is that that character is an empty slot, dead character. I kid you not, that's how hard it is to block when you're jammed. Let's talk about supers. Hyper Battering Ram trades with Nova Superman Punch. It's probably the most practical counter since you can do it on reaction. Again, it's that matchup. Don't ask. Hypersonic Blaster beats a lot of different things. Like Stalking Flare. It's probably the only beam super in the game that has a DBZ type of interaction. I think it's called Beam Struggle. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, it's pretty cool to watch. You can also super and counter people going in with missiles behind them. The super will eat the missiles and keep the combo going. Really cool. Kill Illumination will pick up characters that are considered grounded, even if it doesn't look or seem like they are. For example, versus Phoenix, there are a lot of situations where her feet aren't touching the ground, but it's still possible to get the Killer Illumination. Another example is with Ghost Rider when he does his bike super. Let's talk about assists. For assists, the only thing to say is that Balloon Bomb isn't a soft knockdown like the Balloon Bomb that Modok does when he's on point. And it doesn't interact with other projectiles, as you see Modok trying to hit him there. but how does it interact with barrier? They have an interesting interaction where the bomb doesn't pop and continuously clips the barrier. Super cool interaction. Super cool. Rarely seen. You should totally subscribe. Yeah. JK. I think in theory you can alpha counter into hyper battering ram. I'm not 100% sure. I never do it, but if it's possible, I definitely have to get on that. And barrier is just a gold mine of untapped potential. I'll link a video on the top right that features a mix that Doom gets in the corner with barrier. It's super grimy. Just wild how grimy it is. Check it out. So let's talk about TACs. I hear you want to learn how to do a freaking infinite. I'll show you the infinite so you can see what it looks like. The idea is that you are low enough so that you can cancel the first frames of falling M into hover jump M. The cool thing about this infinite is that you kill the character and you gain levels of understanding at the same time. It is a little bit difficult to land this combo from any TAC side done, but down is the easiest. And it's pretty easy to keep it going. You should end the infinite with a super and DHC if you want to keep the levels of understanding. Alright, so for incomings. I'd say the intermediate video had a pretty good exhibit of what is possible. I'd just like to insert that you can do some super grimy specific things versus the Sparta Brothers with M Analyze Cube. If you place it at a certain spot, it sort of locks them down while not hitting them. In theory, if they act and try to push block, they can get hit since they haven't blocked it yet. That's just the kind of super intricate stuff you can do with Modok on incoming. And that's going to be a wrap on the series. There is a chance down the line, if I see, hear, learn, or make more Modok tech, I can add to this, but that's if something like that happens. One more time, I appreciate you guys watching this. And to the future Brodoks that are thinking of picking up Marvel 3, picking up Peak, I just have to say I welcome you and good luck. 10 more years to this beautiful game, brothers and sisters. Alrighty, one more time for the one time, Modok.
Come on!
Thank you guys. Bye.